Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Dr. Evelina Antonetty, known as the Mother of the Bronx, was a community organizer and education leader who advocated for better education systems for Puerto Rican and other minority children in the Bronx. The legendary Dr. Antonetty founded United Bronx Parents in 1965 in the midst of the civil rights and student movements to foster quality education and community control over schools while expanding to include a bilingual bicultural daycare center, an adult education program, and a youth leadership center. And currently, United Bronx Parents maintains 3 sites in the South Bronx and has evolved in different directions throughout the years. And so this year, Evelina 100 Centennial Committee is celebrating the life, work, and leadership of Dr. Evelina Antonetty and what would have been Evelina's 100th birthday. The celebration is scheduled to feature concerts, art exhibitions, music, and much more. And here to share more, we welcome back Evelina 100 Centennial Committee's Chairwoman, Dr. Nydia Edgecombe. Hi.
Hi, how are you, Rhina? Thank you for having me.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. I see you got the memo. Red is the color for today.
Hey, it's the color of Evelina's art.
The play that Sandra Rodriguez wrote. Good one.
Sandra Rodriguez wrote. So this is basically the color to celebrate the life and times of Dr. Evelina Antonetty, one of the most important women in the diaspora, the Puerto Rican diaspora in the United States. Evelina Antonetty was born in September 1922, and she died in 1982, very early. She was in her early 60s. And she left an amazing mark in the Bronx and the United States all throughout the city, but also throughout the entire diaspora of Puerto Rican diaspora in the United States.
So, I wanted to introduce to our audience a little bit about yourself and you recently receiving your PhD and how you chose Evelina to be your topic for your dissertation and why you felt that it was so important to coordinate such an elaborate event, because this is an elaborate event that's been put together that you are all about to hear about in increments because it's that big.
Yeah. Well, while I was working at Ostos, I retired from Ostos after working for 40 years. Everybody, since I got there, and I got there in the late 1970s, everybody was like, oh, Evelina Antonetty, she's my godmother, she's this, she's that, she's so important for the Puerto Rican. She helps me to get to college. She helps me to help me to get the job I got. And I said, And I was working with Evelina Antonetty because I was the director of admissions and recruitment at the college, and she was the director that always wanted 2 recruiters in her center, not 1. And she always sent back the students at Ostos with, recommendation letters. In open admissions, you don't need a recommendation letter, but she wanted to put her stamp. This is one of my people. You need to treat her or him differently. And I began to sort of do research really early on Evelina, especially after in the 1980s. And I always, I always wanted to finish my PhD. And while I was doing research on Evelina, Elba Cabrera said, Nydia, you should do a PhD. You should write a dissertation on Evelina. And sure enough, Elba Cabrera, being the sister of Evelina, she's a good friend. She's sort of like a godmother to me. So I applied for the PhD program in philosophy and history at the Center for Advanced Studies in Old San Juan. And it's a center that specializes in Caribbean and Puerto Rican history. Puerto Rican history is told by the Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, leaving out the Puerto Ricans in New York, especially women. Nobody writes about Puerto Rican women who leave the island or who left the island on a boat or who left the island the first in the mass migration when airplane tickets were a little, were affordable. Nobody writes about our struggle when we cross the ocean and we come north seeking a better life. And meanwhile, in the stories at Ostos Community College of people that worked there, students, people that I met in the community because I was very involved in the community, women were the doers, were the ones, sort of putting forward and pushing forward their families. And I said, this is not only about Evelina, but this is about all of us, about our mothers, about somebody like Josefina Aguado, the mother of Bill Aguado, somebody like the mother of Gonzalez, David Gonzalez from the New York Times, the Puerto Rican journalist, who wrote a beautiful piece in Facebook, which I cut and pasted into my phone, and I read it as an exercise of feeling myself with greatness as a Puerto Rican woman. He wrote a beautiful piece because he's a great writer, and he wrote about the struggle of his mother and how he pushed forward because of having a woman, a Puerto Rican woman, behind him, just like that. And Bill Aguado, I don't need to tell you the story of La Chancleta. His mother, he used to say that she was the best at throwing a chancleta at him. So how many other million of Puerto Rican mothers are like that? Your mother, I raised my child in New York as well. And I know of the struggles, and I know of how important we are in our community and the community at large.
Yeah, but it's more than that, right? I know you're referencing our originating roles of being a mom that expand into, or I guess we want to say it kind of like tips over into making sure that that's extended to our extended family, right? Within our community, within whatever, our nieces and nephews. I know I read something here with regards to the different names Evelina Antonetty was addressed as, Titi to her nieces and nephews, obviously, whether blood related or adopted. And she was also Mrs. A to the Puerto Rican community. She was the mother of the Bronx. And of course, to her children, she was just appropriately just known as Ma, so I'm just kind of piggybacking off of what you're referencing with regards to women and their nurturing roles, but more so their leadership roles, which is what gets overlooked.
Yes, exactly. And Evelina broke the rules because Evelina was a leader in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And that was a time when the world belonged to men. And she was able to empower herself and to she was able to get this position within our community to become the advocates of those that were not able to advocate for themselves, new immigrants from Puerto Rico, people that were Spanish dominant. She created all of these beautiful bilingual programs for them. She created the first daycare center. She was the first director of the Head Start program.
And so she was also known by the police officers as the Hell Lady of the Bronx.
And she was the one going to the precinct to sort of advocate for the youth that were taking to there just for little things, that nowadays, in fact, she created one of the first programs within the court and United Bronx Parents to allow the court to send the students to United Bronx Parents instead of just going to court or being treated like criminals. She did many, many, many things like that are still not well known by the community, especially the community now of young people, millennials and Generation X and all that they don't really know Evelina as well. So we want to recreate that memory. We want to recreate Evelina and bring Evelina back for young generations of people. So we're hoping that Evelina was also very big about Puerto Rican voting. The voter registration campaign. She used to have Joe Motoro at the table playing the cuatro while she was registering people to vote. So in honor of that, we're beginning the week, which begins on September 12th to the 19th. On September 12th, we're going to have, of course, the opening ceremonies with we're hoping to have the borough president, the president of Ostos Community College. This is happening at Ostos. Then right after that, after the opening ceremonies and the symbolism and reading poetry and all that, and singing the Borinqueña with Bombay Plena, by the way, with Telma Itiel, the great opera singer of Puerto Rico. Then we're going to have a voting registration campaign, the Evelina 100 voting registration campaign throughout the city. There are more than 22 sites where you can register to vote. People are going to be wearing the Evelina Antonetty t-shirts, and Professor Lisette Colon from Hostos is coordinating this effort because she's good at that. She used to do that all the time at Hostos when I was there with Professor Gerald Meyer. So from City College to Brooklyn College Caribbean Studies, Nos Quedamos, Casita Maria, The Point, United Here, Taino Towers. We're having about 22 sites throughout the city for people to register to vote symbolically with Evelina. Then at night, there's a votes for women. It's concert at the Music Bronx Heritage Center, and Elena Martinez is coordinating that. Then on the 13th, it's all the academics at Hostos. It's a panel presentation on Evelina, a gift. The title of that panel is The Gift of Community Empowerment, the legacy of Evelina Antonetty yesterday, today, and tomorrow, because her legacy continues on through the people that she prepared to be those, new and future. That's the way she saw us. You were the future community activists. So then you have that, and then at 9, at 6 o'clock, this is a very beautiful event. There's an embrace between Puerto Rico and New York with La G8, El Caño de Martín Peña organizers there, community organizers there, which are defending the rights of their houses and the environmental rights of Puerto Rican, with La Casita de Chema and also with Julio Pavón, Justice for Puerto Rico. That is happening via Zoom, and embrace via Zoom, with also an audience in New York and an audience in Puerto Rico. And you can actually get more information as we put together the Evelina 100 website, and you can go there and register to attend this event. Then on Wednesday, September 14th, this is an amazing programming that we have put together, the committee has put together. And it starts with the presentation to the children, introducing Evelina Antonetty to children who are 3 and 4, who are now, it's about 65 children, and their parents at the Hostos Children's Center. Elba Cabrera, Anita Antonetty, and Q, Elba's granddaughter, are going to be presenting Evelina to these children. And it's going to be fun because in a week in advance, the director of education for the center is going to be sort of introducing Evelina bit by bit to the children. Then at 6 p.m., then is the opening ceremony of opening reception for Images of Evelina. Images of Evelina is a group of about 9 Puerto Rican artists from Puerto Rico and from New York who have recreated an image of Evelina. They're amazing, all of them. One is better than the other. They're all just different, but really amazing. And we have artists such as Maestro, Antonio Martorell, Marcos Dimas, Maria Dominguez, Ciuco Garcia, who's a transplant to Puerto Rico from New York, and also Rudy Gutierrez, Sara Morales, Esther Pagan, who we know as Star Angel, Nitza Tufino, and Manny Vega. Those are the ones that we have so far, and we already have received their pieces of art, and they're amazing. You can see them at Hostos on the 14th. We also have the musical premiere of Humberto Ramirez. Humberto Ramirez, I equate Humberto sort of like Rafael Hernandez of our times. He's that good, he's that great. He resides in Puerto Rico. He attended Berkeley University. He was a very well-known musician in Puerto Rico. And BronxNet, Bob Sancho, thank you to Bob Sancho, he actually financed this piece, commissioned the piece, financed the piece, and it's going to be played for the first time at Hostos Community College on that night. Right after that, we're going to have a reading of the great Sandra Rodriguez, a playwright. She wrote the plays Evelina's Heart, and we can't put together the entire production. but we will in the future. But for this, she's going to conduct a reading, and believe me, it's going to be amazing. And she's an amazing artist as well. And at the same time that we have all this happening at Ostos Community College, 52 people from Progress are having a jazz concert, the Evelina 100 Jazz Concert, outdoor, couple of blocks away from where Evelina had United Bronx Parents, the location of United Bronx Parents. So what other ways to celebrate and to honor this amazing community activists, this amazing Puerto Rican women, and to really, in a way, celebrate all of us and all the Puerto
Right.
Rican women in the
Oh my
diaspora.
gosh. So Nydia, we're out of time, and I know that there's way more that. And I'm so happy with what you shared, because I think they get the gist of what is going to be occurring between September 12th and September 19th. I mean, I don't want to stop you. I'm being told we're out of time, but I want to at least let you complete with the tree planting ceremony, because I'm so excited about that. Unless there's something
Yes,
else
yes, yes.
you feel that
The
has to
real
be mentioned.
birthday of Evelina is September 19, and we ending the week on September 19 with the tree planting ceremony requested by the family members of Evelina at the Evelina Antonetty Playground. We're going to do a libation, which is sort of an African way of blessing the place. And then right after that, the family, you're invited. Anybody who wants to come to the playground can help us plant this tree that will be there forever for Evelina Antonetty.
Okay. Oh my gosh. This is so exciting. And I'm so excited all of this is happening. Not only in the Bronx, it's happening throughout the city and Puerto Rico. And you know, we didn't get to go through the entire agenda because there's just a lot going on, but that was just a snippet of what's going to be occurring between the week of September 12th and September 19th. Once again, it's Evelina 100, a celebration of the life and times of Dr. Evelina Antonetty. And this is going to be taking place in at approximately 19 venues, and it's going to feature concerts and exhibitions, and as we mentioned, the reading of a play, tree planting, poetry. It's going to be absolutely beautiful, and we're going to be sharing a snippet of it every week from here until September 12th. So we want to thank you once again, Dr. Nydia Edgecombe, who is the chair of the committee of Evelina 100 Centennial. And if you are interested in obtaining more information on the Evelina Antonetty Centennial Celebration taking place September 12th through the 19th, you can visit evelina100.org. Stay tuned, because Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.